to another episode of Have Your Say. Today, again, my guest in the studio is Kenneth Schultz. Kenneth Schultz, as you probably remember, is the writer of this wonderful book called Western Civilization Under Siege. Today, we will discuss one aspect of the threat on Western civilization, which is, believe it or not, coming from universities. Now, you wonder how Western civilization can be threatened by universities and education.
The members of the Frankfurt School got into the universities in America, and then they
First of all, they got into the universities in Germany.
Yes, they started out in Germany. They had to get
Okay.
out of Germany in a bit of a hurry when Hitler came along.
Yes.
But they found their way into the American universities. Because they were academics, they were accepted straight into the universities, and they started to spread their pernicious propaganda throughout the universities, so that those graduates then went on to become future lecturers and professors.
Usually universities should be the place of ideas and the challenges of ideas. So it doesn't really matter if you think differently from the others. But you say that these people mainly from Germany, bringing some dangerous ideas into the United States, and no one challenged them at university, no one can beat them on the head with their teachings.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
So therefore, probably America was not prepared mentally.
It wasn't being prepared to be invaded by a strange philosophy that people do nothing about. It sounded plausible. Everybody likes, well, a lot of people like the idea of a socialist utopia.
Yes.
All are equal and blah, blah, blah. And so it sort of found its way in without much problem at all. But then, of course, the students of those academics became teachers of the same stuff, and so it went on and went on.
So how many years elapsed until these teachings sort of took over the academy?
1 or 2 generations, perhaps.
Yes.
Remember, they went there in the mid-30s.
Yes.
So in 1 or 2 generations, one generation passed it on to the next, until now it is fairly complete that most American universities and a lot of Australian universities are really Marxist enclaves. Their idea is that nobody else is allowed to have any other philosophy now.
This is today we talk.
Today. And if you want a good...
it was, almost 90 years ago, 80 years ago. So how that time of 60, 50, 80 years was not enough to the world and to intellectuals who studying university, who not just studying what the bloody teachers teaching them, they going to the libraries, they can read, they can research, they can get all the other ideas, because the doors are not necessarily shut on the other ideas, because you still got
the doors are shut on other ideas to a fair degree, and if you want a prime example of that,
yes,
in current times now, Western civilization is almost a dirty word, a concept. That now the professors are talking about the evils of Western civilization,
such as
colonialism, slavery, white privilege. So when somebody...
But colonialism and slavery, it sort of was really flourishing in the 19th century, and bits and pieces slowly disappeared in the 20th century and dismantled. So
But
that's not an argument now.
Well, these academics are now talking up all of that the Western civilization is to blame, even though that happened in the past.
Yes.
And now it's got to the stage now they don't teach Western civilization in universities. Along comes the Ramsay Group, which is a conservative group in Australia with a fair amount of funding, and they offered to pay for a course in Western civilization so people could learn about Western civilization.
About their own history.
Yes,
Yes.
and what happened?
I don't
Sydney
know what's
University
happened.
won't have it. The academics, the staff, students even, went up in arms, so they kicked Ramsay out. You're not allowed to teach there the good things about Western civilization anymore. That is how bad it has got.
So you are saying people rewriting history, and don't let the other people to be taught about what's really happened.
That's right. They don't want to talk about all the good things of Western civilization, and there are a lot of good things about it. It's the greatest civilization that ever existed, and it's responsible for our lifestyle today, our freedom and wealth and longevity. But no, the academics, the universities are now talking that down, and all they're doing is harping on the past, the slavery, the colonialism, treating of indigenous populations, and really...
Which all happened, by the way.
Yes, it happened, but that's in the past.
It's part of history.
But who got rid of slavery? England started, the same Western civilization. Slavery had been going on for centuries, forever.
Forever, and slavery and human trafficking is not killed. Doesn't matter what the academics say. That is part of the world.
It is part of the world
of
history.
The world's
yes.
history. And today we are got different type of slavery. If these good leftist teachers did not realize, they are slaves. They are slave of their own system, and they are slave of the wage, and they are the most unproductive people on earth, living from something which is bullshit and talking only, and they are earning more money than the other people who are working really hard, physically and otherwise, to do something, productive. So they are an unproductive part of society, which we don't need to admire. We don't need to really serve. So how can we trap into that stupid situation?
Well, it's very difficult. They're so entrenched. And why can't we do it, you mean? Yeah, well...
Yes, why can't we do it? What I'm saying is no reason to respect them because they're unproductive, they're not even clear-headed, they're not matching the common sense, they're not passing the pop test, they just talking heads and talking shit, and they think they're doing something good, which is super duper unproductive, and we're paying for it.
Exactly.
So why do we need that many of them?
Good question.
And how couldn't we just do what we have to do and just ignore them and even dismantle most of these teachings, because no one missing it. We human beings, we know how to live. We don't need preachers, as they say. We don't need the priest in the churches to preach us. Then they're preaching the same shit as Christianity is preaching in the chapels and in the church without mentioning God. So they're doing the same, telling the same, using the same moral issues, taking out God from it, and they think they invented something. It's laughable. They've not invented anything. Nothing is new. They're talking about equality. They're talking about all the things which people been talking 200, 300 years ago, 2,000 years ago. So what the hell? Where is the merit to giggle up and to do all the same what we're doing all through history? Sometimes we're achieving something good, sometimes we're losing, sometimes so on and so forth. That's part of everyday life. So I couldn't see how we can worship the new priests of the new religion, which is a religion in my eyes. You can correct me if you got different opinion.
Oh, no, it's a religion because it's a firmly held belief.
Without God. You don't need God for religion because so many religions existing thousands of years without God. So this is just another bloody religion with the priest who we pay high money for, so-called professors and so on, and deans, to teach us some moral which we always got from our society. So I couldn't see how this confusion can get into our world.
Well,
the 21st century.
It has. I've given you some background on how it's happened.
Okay.
It has got in, and it is now entrenched. and it is very difficult to get them out again. They have, it's under our sort of system that people in universities are supposed to be able to do their thing without outside interference. Unfortunately, it makes it difficult to correct it. You use the term religion. In other words, religion is worked on belief. So those people have got certain beliefs that they've been taught.
Religious. They are religious, deeply religious, saying, you know, everyone has got equal rights. Yes, because that's what Christ said. That's what the Bible says. We are created equally. So what the hell? What did they, invented? Nothing.
No,
And that's what we have to stand for. And if we believe in God, that's probably better. If we doesn't believe in God, we're still coming from the same source. That is religion.
Yep.
And if you just say, get rid of God, it doesn't mean you get rid of religion. You're just going into a different temple. It's called maybe a lecture theater at the university as a chapel with priests who got high paid, and they washing your brain sometimes, and you believe them without having critical thinking. On that note, we have to go for a short break, but please stay with us, because after the break, we're continuing our discussion with Kenneth Schultz in regard to the threat of Western civilization.